Another area, well, I would suggest to think big, but it's really not big. Everybody in this room knows, and we're here in a major university, great university, that we live in a competitive global economy, right? The future is not ours unless we have the best educated workforce in the world. Democracy does not thrive unless you have a well-educated public and critical thinking. All over the world, major countries understand that when they look to their future, they're looking to their kids, their young people. And I get a little bit tired of seeing politicians standing in front of the flag telling their constituents how much they love America. Well, if you love America, you love the children in America. And that means you do not have or allow to continue in this country having the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. Every child psychologist in the world will tell you that 0 through 4 are the most important years of human development intellectually and emotionally. So if that is a reality, why do we have a broken and dysfunctional and unaffordable child care system? Why are child care workers in some cases paid lower than McDonald's workers? Why do we have an education system where in my state, in rural areas, and this is true all over the country, starting teachers, often with student debt, start off at salaries of $40,000, $42,000 a year? Why is it? Why is it? And this is really quite amazing. 60 or 70 years ago in America, believe it or not, major colleges and universities were tuition free. Do you all know that? University of California, City University of New York, tuition free. How in hell's name have we reverted over 60 or 70 years to a situation where kids are graduating college $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in debt? We desperately need doctors and nurses and dentists. Do you know what doctors are graduating medical school at? Anyone know? $500,000 in debt. And that is why, among other things, I brought forth legislation that would make medical school and nursing school and dental school tuition free. But in addition to that, as some of you may know, the oligarchs want it all. And among other things, they want to destroy public education in America and privatize it. Our job is to strengthen public education. And one of the ways you do that is by paying our teachers a living wage at least $60,000 a year. I want the best and the brightest. I want motivated young people to say, you know what? I dream and would love to become a teacher. Because I believe in the importance of educating our children. I want education to be prioritized in this country, to be appreciated in this country. Trump and his friends want to destroy higher education. I want to make public colleges and universities tuition free. So if you look at the system right now in terms of how it is working for working families, healthcare system clearly broken. Educational system, childcare dysfunctional, kids going in debt to get a higher education, public schools struggling with inadequate resources. Then take a look at another basic necessity of life. So you got healthcare as a basic necessity. Education, I think, is a basic necessity. Housing is a basic necessity. So you got a healthcare system is broken, an education system is broken, and you got a housing system which is totally broken. In America today, again, one of the things we get used to these things, but there are some 800,000 Americans now who are homeless, including a number of people who are actually working. They're going to their jobs and they're sleeping in their cars or God knows where in a shelter. All right? On top of that, you got some 20 million households who are spending at least 50% of their limited incomes on housing. Got it? So if you're spending 50% of your income on housing, what the hell do you have left over, right? Nothing. All right. So maybe, just maybe, instead of providing the military with $1 trillion a year, maybe we build 5 million units of low-income and affordable housing. And when we talk about workers in America, let's understand that we have millions of workers who are working for starvation wages. And one of the great embarrassments in Washington right now is that we have not raised that minimum wage for a very long time. It stands, if you can believe it, at $7.25 an hour. Time now is to say that if you work 40 hours a week in America, you're not living in poverty. Raise that federal minimum wage to at least $17 an hour. Millions of Americans want to join unions today. And I know Michigan is one of the great union states and great union history right here. But right now, many workers who would like to join unions cannot do that because of the illegal behavior of their corporate bosses. That's why we've got to pass the PRO Act to punish companies that act illegally when workers are trying to form unions. There are a tiny handful of countries in the world that do not guarantee paid family and medical leave. We are one of them. Every worker in this country should not have to make the choice of staying home with a sick kid or not going to work and getting fired. All right? One of the things that I learned as the former chairman of the Health, Education, and Labor Committee is that in America today, it's not just that we treat our children shamefully, we treat our seniors shamefully as well. And as a society where seniors are the people who built the economy, defended us in war, they are our parents, they're our grandparents. You don't just shuffle them off to some nursing home. What we have got to do is create a system which treats the elderly in their retirement years with the respect and the dignity they have earned. So what does that mean? What does it mean? It means right now 22% of seniors are trying to survive, I don't know how they do it, on $15,000 a year. Got it? You got half of seniors trying to get by on $30,000 a year or less. And then you got some Republicans out there who are saying, well, we should cut Social Security. Well, I've got a very different idea. No, we're not going to cut Social Security. we're going to expand Social Security. And we're going to do that by lifting the cap on taxable income. By lifting the cap. Right now, you make $10 million a year, you make $186,000, you pay the same amount into Social Security. Lift that cap, we can significantly increase benefits and extend the solvency of Social Security for decades. So I say all of these things, and there's much more. Clearly, climate remains a huge issue. You got a president of the United States who insanely thinks that climate change is a hoax. You and I know that it is an existential threat to our planet. And you and I know that we can create millions of good-paying jobs transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel, working with countries all over the world. Now, I say all of these things, and there's a lot more I haven't gone over. But the main point that I want to make to you, two main points. Number one, everything that I have told you is not radical. Now, people out there, our critics, the Republicans, some Democrats, well, you know, this is really radical stuff. It's not part of mainstream. It's communism, whatever it may be. But what I want you to know is, A, much of what I'm talking about already exists in other countries around the world. And number two, that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, this is all achievable. We can do these things. But it is not just domestic issues that we've got to focus on. We have to take a very hard look at what we are doing in terms of foreign policy. I am proud to tell you that I have led the effort in the United States Senate to end all military aid to the Netanyahu government in Israel. This is one clear example where Washington, is way out of touch with where the American people are. This is clearly a moral issue. I mean, this would be a horror under any circumstances. Over 60,000 dead, 140,000 wounded, mostly elderly, women, children. 18,000 kids are killed. And now, starvation of children. It is criminal. Of course it's criminal. The issue here is not only that it is bad, we are paying for the starvation of children in Gaza. And I will tell you, this is not what the Democrats want, not what at the base. Now, I've gone all over the country, and the response I get is exactly what I am hearing from you. The American people do not want their taxpayer dollars going to starve or bomb children at schools. And as a result of grassroots activism, we are beginning to turn the tide. A few years ago, people proudly said, oh, I support AIPAC. AIPAC is funding me. People are not saying that anymore. You know why? Because AIPAC is, to a large degree, precisely behind the refusal of the Congress to act morally and responsibly. You take a hard look at any candidate who's taken AIPAC money, and you ask them whether or not they're going to stand with the children in Gaza or with big money interest here in the United States. Artificial intelligence and robotics are going to transform our economy and the world. The oligarchs are currently spending hundreds of billions of dollars in AI and robotics. Now, let me ask you a question. I want an honest answer. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. How many people think, as presently constituted, AI and robotics will improve life for ordinary people? How many people think that it will hurt ordinary people? It's interesting. That is the response. That's the response I've been getting in a lot of places. Here's what we should know. In 50 years ago or so, with the development of all kinds of new technology, including cell phones, including computers, including flat-screen TVs, and all of this stuff, you would think, this is an interesting point, you would think that the American people say, wow, life is getting better. All right, I'm going to ask you another question. Pew Research, they're quite a reputable research company. They did a poll a few years ago. And this is the question they asked the American people. I'm going to ask it you. And again, don't tell me what I want to hear. The question was, do you believe that somebody in your position, somebody whose life is like yours, middle class, lower, upper class, whatever it may be, do you think life was better 50 years ago for that person, or life is better today? Well, what do you guys think? Was life better 50 years ago or life better? Raise your hand if you think life was better, is better today. Okay. Raise your hand if you think life was better 50 years ago. Okay, well, that's right. That's a good point. That is a very good point. So what we have, here's the point. Clearly, from our perspective, there have been positive changes. 50 years ago, you didn't have women governors. You didn't have women representation in Congress. You didn't have women doing all kinds of jobs. We still had racism rampant in the United States. Gay rights was at a very low level. So in those areas, life is, in fact, better. If you're black today, you can go out and get a job that you couldn't have gotten 50 years ago. If you're a woman, you can get a job you could not have gotten. Life is better. But on the other hand, there is a reason why 60% of the people in that poll said, no, I think life might have been better 50 years ago. And that has to do with sense of community, the sense that we are losing something, the sense that what we need out of human life is just human beings, the companionship, the love, the community that we need to thrive, that our kids need to thrive. We are losing that. And I worry very, very much. There's an expression you are all familiar with, and that is, the operation was a success, but the patient died. Right? You all familiar with that? And that's what I fear. The system today is a great success. We had all kinds of technology. You can do all kinds of great things. Unfortunately, it ain't working for ordinary people. So our job is to say to the oligarchs, as we take them on and defeat them, that you cannot determine our future for us. And right now in AI, as some of you know, to produce AI requires an enormous, unbelievable amount of water and electricity and energy. So people's electric bills are going to go up to pay for AI, and they go out and get a job, and it's not going to be there. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So we're looking at environmental issues in terms of AI. You're looking at the loss of jobs, and I worry very, very much about kids in schools and critical thinking, and whether or not kids will be learning how to use their minds. All right, let me just conclude for the third time. This is my final and absolute conclusion. These are tough times for the country. At the very least, we need to elect strong members to Congress who have the guts to stand up for working people, stand up for decency, and are prepared to take on the oligarchy. Abdul El Sayed is one of those people. Please send them to Washington. Thank you very much.